What would you say the best, I don't know if there's a best bet in terms of protecting yourself against inflation, like a inflation hedge type of investing? Because it seems that with tariffs and with the current inflation in the system, it just seems like that's what's really eating away at everyone's savings.
Yeah, it definitely is. And again, I don't know that there's a best, but I was in a really interesting investment meeting years ago now because everyone is looking for inflation protection, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is you can't even do inflation protection. You have to beat inflation, which is even more of an onus, right?
Right.
And so how do you do that? I don't have a good answer, but I will follow up with you on that.
Like I know gold was something people touted, and then you'd have people who loved gold, and then people who said gold is not a good investment. I remember walking with friends during COVID debating this because we thought, oh, okay, it's stable, and then people are like, I'd rather own Bitcoin than gold, and
Well,
I don't know
that's
if
it.
it.
Yeah.
What
So
are your thoughts?
those would be the two obvious ones that people talk about, gold and or Bitcoin, right? And it's interesting because, someone like Warren Buffett doesn't believe in buying gold because how are you actually going to use it, trade it, and and there's a cost to store it, right? But then there are people who absolutely do believe it's an inflation protection. And when you look at Bitcoin, in some ways, what's most interesting about it to me, and I think to many people, is that the central bankers around the world can't control it. And what's been going on for years is that the more money that the central bankers have been printing has been devaluing your money. And that's a significant part of the issue as to why we're all feeling agflation. I mean, that's just one of the reasons, right? They just keep printing money, debt, interest payments. So they've devalued the value of your dollar through all of this, keeping the system afloat. And that's one reason why people are significant believers in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. But nobody obviously knows the right answer, Phil. So
Right.
I personally have been involved in crypto for a number of years now, and I don't own any gold. But gold's obviously done very well, but there's times where it doesn't. So difficult to say.
Right.
Sometimes I think honestly, owning just good, solid companies at the right price, and even ones that pay dividends. Melissa and I talk a lot about that. It's a very, I don't want to say simple, but I think it's worked for a very, very, very long time. And one of the things when I mentioned, people are sharpening their pencils right now in terms of, what stocks do I want to buy? I've also been hearing a lot about people now looking for dividend stocks because they don't know what the stock price is going to do. And why not get paid to wait?